Hey guys, it's Blair with Revit Auto, and today we're working on a 2006 Chevy Express 3500 van. I'm going to show you how you can replace your battery pretty quickly here and to do it easily. The first thing you're going to need to do is remove this bar right here, which ties the inner fender to the front radiator core support. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with my electric ratchet. So I'm using a 13mm socket. I'm going to break it loose and just back it off, put it safely in my little rain gutter for the windshield, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this side. And I'm just going to take this, put this to the side. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove your ground, which is on the left hand side or the passenger side, and you're going to want to remove your power lead next. You're going to want to remove your ground first, because if you go from ground to the chassis, you're not going to electrocute yourself. But if the ground is hooked up and you go from the positive side of the terminal to something that's grounded, you're going to zap yourself pretty good. So you're going to want to use a 6-point socket on these because they're very small and delicate. I'm going to use an 8mm socket to remove the ground cable and the positive cable. So they come off really easily. They just unthread, and you can see right here, this is the little connector. So they're little side terminals, and these bolts thread into the battery itself. The next thing that we'll have to do is locate the battery mounting bracket, which is probably a 10 or a 13. It is a 13. So the next thing that I will do is use my extension and my 13mm, and I'm going to go behind the battery to where the battery hold down is, and I'm going to go ahead and back it out. So that's the long bolt, and then the battery hold down is down here. So I can now lift this battery up and out, and you'll see so here's my new battery, and what you'll see is that the way your hold down works is it's got this little notch in it, and that notch just presses against here, and when you put that bolt through it and you tighten it down, it just clamps onto the battery and doesn't let it move. So now I'll go ahead and orient my battery correctly so that my power positive lead is on the facing the driver's side, and I'll go ahead and just snake it in. So once I got it in, I'll go ahead and align everything so that I can properly get my little battery hold down clamp on. So I'm going to grab my hold down clamp, I'm going to place it into its position. You'll see that it has a nice little holder. Then I'll take my really long bolt, which goes to that hold down. I'll line it up so that I can see the bottom of the hole before I go to torque it down. Now you'll check, make sure that your battery is nice and snug. I'm going to go just a little bit tighter, and I'm happy with that. So now it's time to put your leads back on. I start with the positive because at this point the chassis is not grounded. So if I go from this lead and I touch something that's grounded to the chassis, I'm not going to get electrocuted. So what I do is, like I said, I thread this in by hand so that I don't mess anything up. Then what I do is, instead of using the power tool on this, I actually will manually crank it in so that I don't strip anything, because these are so easy to damage that you really want to do this with hands. So now I'm just going to ratchet it down. And I'm not using the power, I'm just letting my hands do the work, so that I can feel how easily this is going in, so I know I'm not stripping it. And when I start to feel the tension, I don't over torque it. So now that's on there nice and snug. My battery cable's not moving. It's not over torqued. I'm really happy with how that feels. I'll go ahead and do the negative side next. Same thing. Get the thread started, and then once I have the thread started, I'll go ahead and torque it up by hand. And it does not take a lot of effort. I could use my pinky to snug these up. It doesn't need to be on super tight. If you put it on too tight, you're gonna damage the threads and you're gonna have all these sorts of weird issues that are stemmed from having your battery terminals not properly fastened. Let me just show you all of the terminals and everything so that you can see. The positive side is towards the driver's side. It's marked with this red color, and that is your 8mm bolt that goes into the battery terminal itself. Your ground is on the other side here. On this car, it's just a little bit rusty and it's a little dark, so I'm having difficulty getting good quality lighting there. Here we go. Here is your ground side, and this is also an 8mm, and do it by hand. And then your hold down, your battery hold down is right there. That nut, that bolt that you see right there, that's that big bolt, that 13mm that holds everything into place. So once you've done that, you'll go ahead and reattach your bar that goes from your inner fender to your radiator core support. So we're doing a radiator core support. The flat side goes on the radiator portion, and this small bar has threads in it. It goes right over here. So we're gonna use the threads that are in the bar for this bolt, and we're gonna use the threads that are in the radiator core support for this bolt. 13mm socket. I'll torque all these down. That's snug. And that's snug. And there you have it. At this point, start up your vehicle, make sure that it's running, that you don't have any weird codes going on, and you are good to go. You've just changed your battery. Thank you for watching this video on how to replace your battery in your Chevy Express van. We really appreciate when you guys like, comment, and especially subscribe. It allows us the opportunity to create more content for you guys to do this stuff at home. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy motoring.